Hello and welcome. You're watching UTV Live at 6.
Good evening. These are the headlines.
The Health Minister reveals he still does not know why the major IT crash happened in the Southern Health Trust, as he warns waiting lists could get longer as a result.
Yes, there is concern, and that concern will remain until I am satisfied that we now know not just what happened, but why.
The closure of the controversial Cash for Ash scheme will cost almost £200 million over the next decade.
And a man remains in custody as police continue to investigate a sudden death in Enniskillen.
Also tonight, local school children helped to uncover the hidden treasures of Woodvale House in Belfast.
Joy for Ireland's Kate O'Connor as she secures a stunning silver medal win at the World Athletics Championships.
And high pressure returns this week with some settled weather on the way, but it will feel quite cool and crisp at times. I'll have all of the details later in the programme.
The ramifications of the major IT crash across the Southern Health Trust last week are still being felt as urgent attempts are made to reschedule more than 1,600 procedures and appointments.
This afternoon, the Health Minister told MLAs that questions over why the system failed remain unanswered, with Mike Nesbitt admitting that he's concerned that it could happen again. Our health correspondent Deborah McAleese reports.
How many more people do we not know about?
Will there be a coordinated regional response?
Isn't it the case that this executive is just not investing in the critical infrastructure that's required?
He was bombarded with questions, but he didn't have all the answers. 5 days after a major IT outage hit the Southern Health Trust, the Health Minister admitted to MLAs that he still wasn't any clearer as to why the system crashed.
As we stand a few days on, we know what happened, and there was just an upgrade, a sort of planned upgrade of software, which went wrong, but we don't know why it went wrong, and so we need to know why did it go wrong, and I'm particularly interested to know why the two data centres malfunctioned, because I am looking on it as a primary system and a backup system, and clearly if it's a backup system that should not fall along with the primary one. Its exact existence is to be a backup when things start to go wrong.
A major incident was declared across the Southern Health Trust on Wednesday following the IT outage. Ambulances had to be diverted to other emergency departments, and more than 1,600 surgeries and appointments had to be postponed. This afternoon, the Minister advised the Assembly that more patients on the waiting list may be impacted.
I indicated there will be clinical decisions being made about the 1,600 who had their elective procedures postponed, and that will have a knock-on effect for others who are currently on the lists waiting for procedures of their own, because it will be done in terms of clinical priority.
And then came the crucial question.
Is there any concern about any of this likely to happen across other trusts?
From a personal point of view, yes, there is concern, and that concern will remain until I am satisfied that we now know not just what happened, but why it happened.
Well, Mike Nesbitt speaking there, and Deborah joins me now in the studio. Deborah, do you think that other trusts will be asked to step in and help the Southern Trust to clear its waiting lists, the waiting lists that are caused by this IT crash?
Well, Mike Nesbitt told Assembly members there this afternoon, Rose, that is going to have to be a conversation between the Southern Health Trust and the other health trusts. Now, mutual aid did kick in last Wednesday when ambulances had to be diverted away from Craigavon Area Hospital and from Daisy Hill Hospital to other trust areas. But all of the trusts, the other trusts, they have their own waiting list problems. So it's going to be very difficult to tell how many more patients they're going to be able to take. But I do know that there is a lot of juggling going on in the background at the minute. So in your opinion, what do you think will happen next? Well, investigations into this crash are continuing. And one of the big concerns is obviously how the backup system failed as well. But then Diane Dodds also raised another question in the Assembly with Mike Nesbitt. She said that she's aware that the system actually went down for several hours earlier this month. Now, Mike Nesbitt said he was completely unaware of this, but he was going to find out if this was the case and how that could have happened then. But this can't be a prolonged investigation because the public and staff need to be reassured that this won't happen again.
Deborah McAleese, thank you very much.
The cost of compensating RHI boiler owners will come to almost £200 million over the next 10 years. That figure was revealed by the Economy Minister as she announced the closure of the controversial green energy project.
Well, flaws in the scheme saw a projected overspend of nearly £700 million before cost controls were brought in. The scandal surrounding the energy boilers saw the collapse of Stormont and a public inquiry into what went wrong. Jordan Moats reports.
It became known as the Cash for Ash scandal. The scheme was supposed to subsidise fuel and incentivise moving to eco-friendly boilers, but mistakes in its design meant the subsidy rates were higher than the actual cost of the wood pellets. The more users burned, the more they earned. Years after the scandal emerged, the Minister has now moved to close the scheme, costing £196 million.
In securing closure, we must ensure that participants who have acted in good faith receive the payment that they are legally entitled to receive, while also protecting the taxpayer. With closure and with Ofgem no longer administering the scheme, meters will no longer be monitored for usage. Payments will therefore be based on usage between 2017 and 2019, the period which best reflects the actual heat demand for which installations were designed. Instead of receiving a single one-off payment, compensation to participants will be staggered over a period of 10 years for the typical participant.
RHI was set to overspend by hundreds of millions of pounds. In 2017, the DUP's handling of the scandal contributed to the collapse of the institutions. A subsequent public inquiry identified a series of mistakes and flaws in the scheme. There are currently around 1,200 users entitled to the closure payment over the next 10 years. Each could get between £6,000 and £8,000 a year rather than a one-off payment.
This has been an issue that's been in abeyance for 6 years. A lot of businesses have carried the additional cost of operating green energy systems solely on their own budgets. We hope that there will be a full, fair and final resolution to this. It's hung like an albatross around the political necks in Stormont, but it was very refreshing to see the great degree of cross-party acknowledgement that the boiler owners have been misrepresented in all of this.
The closure of the scheme was first agreed in 2020 as part of the deal to restore Stormont. It was delayed by COVID and then by political disagreement. Today's move by the Minister is clearly one which has been on the cards for a very long time. Jordan Moats, UTV Live.
A 42-year-old is being questioned by police investigating the sudden death of a man in Enniskillen.
The man in his 60s was found dead at Drumbawn Close in the town. Sarah O'Kane reports.
Forensics were back at the scene here in the Drumbawn Close area of Enniskillen today. Police are investigating the sudden death of a man in his 60s. It's understood he lived in this bungalow and died yesterday. The house remains sealed off as the PSNI piece together what exactly has happened. A 42-year-old man was arrested and he's continuing to be questioned about the circumstances surrounding the death. Those living here are shocked by the seriousness of the incident. We still don't know how he died, but a post-mortem examination is due to be carried out to determine the cause. Police remained at the house throughout the day as investigations continue. Sarah O'Kane, UTV Live, Enniskillen.
Two men found guilty of murdering convicted criminal Malcolm McKeown in Waringstown in 2019 are appealing their convictions. The news emerged during a tariff hearing for Jake O'Brien, who's 31, and for 30-year-old Andrew Thomas Kenneth Martin. Today at Belfast Crown Court, a judge was urged to send the men to prison for a minimum of 20 years without parole to reflect society's revulsion at the scourge of gangland violence. They're due to be sentenced in 2 weeks' time.
A man who claimed that he was abused and groomed by the paedophile priest Father Malachi Finnegan is due to receive £170,000. The payout forms part of a settlement reached in the High Court over the historical physical and sexual abuse. The 57-year-old, who cannot be identified, sued the Diocese of Dromore and the Board of Governors at St Coleman's College over failures to protect him from the paedophile priest. The man is also to receive a letter of apology from Archbishop Eamon Martin on behalf of the diocese.
A jury has been sworn in for the trial of two prominent Northern Ireland businessmen charged with fraud in the so-called NAMA case. Ian George Coulter, who is 54 and from Templepatrick Road in Ballyclare, and 81-year-old Frank Cushnahan of Alexandra Gate in Hollywood are charged in connection with the sale of bank debts by the National Assets Management Agency. 9 men and 3 women were told that the trial is expected to last for 12 weeks.
The NSPCC has called for a law change to ensure that children here are protected from all physical punishment. Currently, the defence of reasonable chastisement allows parents and carers to argue in court that it was reasonable to use force against their child. The charity lobbied MLAs at an event at Stormont today on the issue.
What we want to see is a reform to the law to end physical punishment and to give children equal protection from assault as adults. And we want to see that in the current Justice Bill that's passing through the Assembly. Now is the time, now in 2025, no violence and no physical harm against children should be tolerated. The next step, societal attitudes have shifted, the research is clear. Really, this is just what we want to see now. And we want to send that message to children that their protection matters and that they matter.
Well, it's time now on the programme to look at the headlines, which will be making tonight's ITV news at 6:30.
And here's Mary Nightingale.
Coming up on the ITV Evening News, the Chancellor's extraordinary allegation. Rachel Reeves accuses the Russians of being behind cyber attacks which have hit some British businesses. The Duchess of York is dropped as children's charity patron over leaked Epstein emails. And happy birthday to ITV. We take a look back at 70 years of memorable moments. Well, do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
A robot at Belfast City Hospital is helping to transform surgeries and even speed up recovery time.
The innovative machine is a human-controlled system which allows a surgeon to control up to 4 electronic arms. Nathan Hanna has been finding out more.
It's being called pioneering technology, a human-controlled robot changing the very face of surgery. This is the Da Vinci system. It gives surgeons the ability to control 4 arms during keyhole surgery, and it's in use at Belfast City Hospital.
This certainly isn't as easy as it looks, the experts really showing off their skills. What we do know, though, is that this is transforming patients' lives and really cutting down on recovery time. The state-of-the-art system is controlled from a console that is typically in the same room as the patient and is helping hospitals revolutionise minimally invasive procedures.
We used to make big incisions and, as you can imagine, blood loss, pain control. And now it's just transformed into minimally invasive surgery where we can use keyhole instruments going in keyhole slits and recovery better. The patient loses less blood, pain management better. They're back to their normal activities much quicker, back home much quicker and back to, to their own environment where they can recover better.
2 patients diagnosed with prostate cancer who underwent surgery told UTV of their experiences under the knife.
One of the big things for me, Nathan, was that the recovery would be quicker. Obviously with a very precise machine being used, high-end technology. I was back out of hospital in a day, went in on a Friday at 7, had my operation at 2. I was back in recovery at 6 and back out next day, back out of hospital in 1 day.
I think I might be the poster boy for this because I had been doing Pilates beforehand. I've cycled all my life, I've kept fit, and I think that's important. So I was going in a good condition, and then recovery was really quite quick. I had a catheter for a couple of weeks and then that was gone. The scars cleared very quickly and I was back to normal. But I think the psychological recovery was faster because it's gone. And I feel with the prostate away, I don't have anything to worry about.
The future of surgery is in safe hands. Nathan Hanna, UTV Live.
Amazing stuff. Well, it's time now for sport.
And here's Ruth.
The game is heating up. John Mulholland Motors
sponsors of UTV Sport.
Good evening. Kate O'Connor stormed to silver success at the World Athletics Championships over the weekend. Newry-born O'Connor became the first Irish athlete to win a multi-events medal at a global outdoor championship. The 24-year-old was second in the standings after day one, but had to dig deep after injuring her knee during the long jump on day two. She clocked 2 minutes, 9.56 seconds in the final event, the 800 metres, to secure the silver medal.
She's been labelled our next superstar, and it's no wonder. 4 years ago, Kate O'Connor was 24th in the world at heptathlon. Now she's up to second.
I've never really come to a championship before and had as much pressure as I've had on my shoulders, not even just from people outside, but from myself. I expected big things and I knew that I was always within a shot of getting a medal. And yeah, it's one thing knowing that you're capable, but it's another thing actually going out and doing it.
Newry-born O'Connor recorded 5 personal bests out of the 7 events over the weekend in Tokyo, and 2 of those PBs were achieved while suffering a knee injury.
Hurt my knee in the long jump and it was just like a real fight to the line in every single event. In the javelin I did one warm-up throw and I was just hoping for the best. Like, the team around me have filled me with so much confidence today. Because yeah, I didn't have a ton of confidence after the long jump. I wasn't really able to run, I wasn't able to walk up and down stairs. And yeah, it was just pure grit and determination and want for a medal.
O'Connor finished 14th at last summer's Olympics in Paris, but she turned things around to have her most successful year to date. She's won European indoor bronze, World Indoor silver, World University Games gold, and the latest, World Championships silver.
Words can't describe the year that I've had. I don't know, indoor season was like a complete dream. And I suppose like afterwards we took some time off and I really wanted to show that like I could carry that form into outdoor season. My expectations for myself changed this year and they've probably changed again now. I think I've set myself up really well for the next 3 years leading up to the Olympics and I'm prepared to put my head down and work really hard. I'm so happy that I can represent my country on a global stage and win global medals.
O'Connor has the Los Angeles Olympics in 2028 firmly in her sights. And right behind her will be her coach, who's also her dad, Michael.
People don't understand the amount of work that they put in behind the scenes. Like, I put in a lot of work, but like so did them guys. And with multi-events, it's definitely not a solo event. It takes a lot of work from other people and a lot of belief and a lot of time and a lot of effort. And I have a team around me that don't just support me as an athlete, but they also like love me as a person. And I think that that's really, really important to have people that actually are 100% in your corner.
Some photos for the family album there. Now, Mark Allen lifted his 12th ranking event title last night as he was crowned English Open champion. Allen led 7-3 before losing his lead to trail 8-7, but he showed his never say die attitude to claim the final 2 frames and emerge the winner. It was his 12th ranking event victory in what was his 20th final. He now draws level with Sean Murphy in 10th position on the all-time event winners list.
It sounds so simple, but so many guys would have just give up in certain positions that I was in this week, and I think other people know now that I'm not going to give up. I'm never beat, and that's sort of worth a frame in itself sometimes. And yeah, I'm happy to win ugly, and there's some decent stuff in there as well. But yeah, there's plenty more to come.
Well done, Mark Allen. Now Glentoran are the only team unbeaten in the Nifl Premiership after defeating Coleraine at the showgrounds. And it turns out former Linfield player Jordan Stewart is fast becoming a fan's favourite with the Glen supporters as he once again produced a super display and scored both goals in their 2-1 victory. Larne are just 1 point behind table toppers Glentoran after a 2-0 win over Carrick. Larne will travel to the Oval to face the Glens this weekend.
Going to the Oval is never easy. It's always a difficult task. They've got their tails up, got a great win last night away to Coleraine, show what they're about as a team, and they're going into the game full of confidence. But we're not going to go short of confidence going into the game as well. And touch wood, we'll have a few more back in that there, and a mixed selection. Eric, for me, Aaron Donnelly's now free of suspension, which has been a long time coming, and he comes welcome addition back into the squad.
Should be a thriller on Saturday. Now Ireland's cricketers fell to a 2-0 series defeat to England in Malahide yesterday. The first time the sides had met in a T20 Test series. England's 6-wicket victory yesterday was helped by a half-century from Jordan Cox. The second test was abandoned without a ball being bowled due to the rain on Friday. The Belfast Giants failed to pick up their first 4-point weekend of the season. After an 8-0 win over Five Flyers, the Dundee Stars defeated Adam Keefe's side 5-2 at the Dundee Ice Arena yesterday. The Giants' 2 goals came from Ryan Smith and Nicholas Gay as they fell to their second Challenge Cup loss of the season. Finally, it's good news for golf fans out there. It's Ryder Cup week. Team Europe are in New York to try and defend their trophy this week. They'll go out for their first official practice session tomorrow. Team USA are out today, and we'll have much more on that throughout the week. That's all your sport this Monday. Bye for now.
The game is heating up. John Mulholland Motors, sponsors of UTV Sport.
Pupils from 8 Belfast schools have helped to unearth the remains of a 19th century house during a Queen's University community archaeological dig in Woodvale Park.
Apart from markings on some Ordnance Survey maps, very little is known about Woodvale House. But some school children have been working alongside archaeologists to uncover its local history. Daniel Duffy reports.
When the sun shines, it's good to get outdoors, and children from Black Mountain Primary School took full advantage, learning new skills while delving into the history of their local park. Taking part in an archaeological dig, there was once a house here, owned by Reverend Octavius Glover.
Hopefully we're going to be able to prove at the end of this week that this here is around the eastern wing of what was Woodvale House. Belfast Corporation acquired the land as a park area, and whenever the park area was acquired it was sort of demolished, basically levelled. There's not an awful lot of information regarding that in the historical record or anything. So the kids are helping us find items associated potentially with the house.
Tell me a little bit about some of the items.
There's a gorgeous figurine. It's like a terracotta figurine with a head missing, unfortunately. We've found a bottle stopper, clay pipes. Our window, there's a lovely window latch. I think it's bronze window latch. Well, we think it's a window latch just by the look of it.
8 schools from the area have helped out with the excavation in cooperation with the Shankle Partnership and Queen's University.
Outdoor learning is a new thing in primary schools, and our children are really thriving outside digging, and they can't believe they're getting dirty on a Monday morning, so they're really enjoying it. Yeah, it's very good for them, for their social skills and for the teamwork, and to find out about their local community, really, because they don't really know anything about what happened in Woodvale Park years and years ago, and they can't believe. One said they thought artefacts were only 200 years old, but they found out today it was 2,000 years old, so they're blown away by this. So yeah, it's always bringing the history into the classroom as well, and outdoor learning. It's really good for the children.
The school pupils have been mucking in and are enjoying learning about the history in their local park.
I'm finding very little here. Nothing. Just clay.
I'm enjoying it alright, it's amazing. Really, really amazing.
And what's been your favourite part about it so far?
Found some really big rocks, glass and some flint.
You didn't find any money?
No money. Could have been rich.
No money, but hidden treasures in your own backyard. History is everywhere, even where you least expect it. Daniel Duffy, UTV Live, Belfast.
Very interesting. Well, tonight is the autumn equinox.
And Louise is here to tell us more about it. Louise.
It is indeed, and it has felt very crisp, cool, autumnal today. Plenty of bright and sunny spells around though. But yes, you are right, the autumn equinox will take place this evening. The equinox is a specific point in time when the centre of the sun, as viewed from Earth, crosses the Earth's equator, and day and night almost become equal in length. Now, the term equinox is actually derived from the Latin for equal night, as I'm sure you'll be aware, Paul, with your different language skills. Now, it is due to take place tonight at 19 minutes past 7. But we're already feeling so autumnal. Out here, the ground is littered with different hues of leaves that already started to fall off the trees. The ground is also littered with plenty of conkers and acorns, so those signs are there. But high pressure returns this week. Perfect time to get out and about for a nice walk. Here's the forecast.
Feel-good weather is set to continue throughout the day. UTV Weather, sponsored by the Grant Irona R290 heat pump.
So we have plenty of fine, dry and settled weather to come this week. High pressure returns. We will have some sunshine by day, but we can expect a few cool and crisp nights to come. As we move through the early hours, temperatures will fall away over the next few nights. Ahead of that, though, high pressure pushes in from the Atlantic. A lot of settled weather coming our way, but as it slowly starts to edge eastwards, we'll see more in the way of cloud pushing in across the west. And that's ahead of some slightly more unsettled weather coming our way as we head into the weekend, and the winds will pick up, coming quite blustery at times. But before we get to there, we have plenty of fine, dry weather tonight. Clear skies for most places in the countryside. We could see temperatures fall away to low single digits. There's a possibility in the coldest rural spots it could fall closer to freezing. Last night in Catesbridge, we saw temperatures dip to -1.3 degrees Celsius. There is also the chance of a touch of frost in the countryside with some patchy mist and fog forming. Tomorrow morning, that mist and fog will quickly lift and clear to leave another dry and bright day. Plenty of lengthy spells of sunshine into the afternoon with a light southwesterly breeze. It will feel slightly pleasant in any of those lengthy spells of sunshine. Temperatures reaching highs of 15 or 16 degrees Celsius, but we'll see more in the way of cloud building across eastern counties. Across the rest of Ireland, it's a largely dry and bright day. A mix of sunny spells and patchy cloud into the afternoon. Thicker cloud across the east coast could produce 1 or 2 light showers, but temperatures reaching highs around 16 degrees Celsius with a moderate breeze from a southwesterly direction. Over the coming days then, we do have plenty of sunny spells on the way, staying largely dry by day. Always a slight chance of a shower around the coast, but for most places, plenty of settled conditions with a few cool nights in the forecast too. That is the very latest. Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye for now.
UTV weather, sponsored by the Grant Arona R290 heat pump.
And before we go, we want to wish ITV a very happy birthday. It was launched 70 years ago today.
Well, over the past few months, we've been charting that rich history by looking at how UTV has covered decades of news and stories from right across Northern Ireland.
And on ITVX, you can catch up with all of these special pieces, including reports looking at the lives of the boxer Barry McGuigan, the Olympic gold medalist Lady Mary Peters, and more recently, Belfast's little heart warrior, Daithí McGowan.
Well, that's the very latest news in Northern Ireland this Monday, the 22nd of September. Paul will be back with the late bulletin at 10:30.
The ITV News continues now with Mary Nightingale. From Rose, from me and the rest of the Tea Time team on UTV Live. Good evening.
Have a good evening.